going on, MMA fans? I'm here to do my Tough 7 finale predictions. Of course, the event's taking place on June 21st on Spike. I'm going to run down the 4 main event fights plus 2 fights that are probably going to be on the undercard. First fight of the night is Diego Sanchez versus Luigi Fernavante. Diego, of course, fought David, and I can't ever say his name right, Bekadin at, I think it was UFC 82, if I remember right. Stopped that fight via TKO, and I think David tapped as well. Bekadin's fought in Pride, I think on one occasion, and I think he's fought in Shudo as well. But nonetheless, Sanchez has fought Fitch, Parisian Koscheck, Nick Diaz, John Alessio, so on and so forth. Luigi Fernavante has got pretty decent stand-up. He's fought the likes of Luke Kumo, John Fitch, Frank Camacho. I think Diego's going to be able to take Luigi down fairly easily. Luigi's shown in the past he has a deficiency in his takedown defense, and he's been out-grappled before. So I think that Diego is going to be able to take him down, probably fairly easily get into in and out of Luigi's guard, probably into half guard, then to side control, probably to mount and go for some strikes. And if he doesn't get the stoppage, he'll probably try to go for an armbar. So I'm going to go with Diego Sanchez. I'm actually going to go with a second round TKO. I think he's going to stop Luigi on the ground. Very convincingly. So I think Diego takes this fight. Next fight, Josh Burkman versus Dustin Hazlett, or Hazlett, however you wish to pronounce it. Josh Burkman, of course, just fought Mike Swick at the for his last fight, and lost that fight via I think it was either unanimous or a majority decision, one of the two. He's fought Forrest Pest, Caro Parisian as well. Hazlett actually looked really good against Koscheck. I was surprised. He had better takedown defense, and his striking seems to be coming along. He's fought Jonathan Goulet, Stevie Lynch, Diego Saraiva, and he also fought, who else? Tony D'Souza. I think Hazlett probably is going to take this fight. As much as Burkman is better in the wrestling aspect, he's not explosive. He gasses very easily, and I think the only place that he really beats Hazlett in this fight is, I think, the technical boxing. I think Burkman has better technical boxing, but I think Hazlett will make up for that in his jiu-jitsu, which is world-class on the ground. He does have decent, it seems, up-and-coming striking and even better wrestling as of late. So I think Dustin Hazlett's going to take this fight via a decision. I don't think either guy is going to beat the other. I think Hazlett wins this fight probably by a split decision. I think this fight's going to be close, but I think Burkman's going to lose the edge. He gasses, and he's probably going to lose a split. Next fight, Spencer Fisher versus Jeremy Stephens. This is a really good fight, and I'm glad they put this together. Of course, Spencer Fisher fights with Miletich. He's fought the likes of Frankie Edgar, Sam Stout, Hermes Franca, Dan Lozon, Matt Wyman. Matt Wyman, of course, was the Flying Knee, and also Thiago Alves. Jeremy Stephens, of course, has fought just recently Cole Miller, also fought Diego Saraiva, and then lost to Dean Thomas, of course, via the armbar. I think Stephens is really well-rounded. He is one of the guys that I've talked about before in my MMA Corner videos in the past. He's an up-and-comer in this division. Spencer Fisher has really looked, he looked kind of subpar against Hermes Franca. He looked subpar against Frankie Edgar. Of course, Frankie Edgar took him down continuously every round, but I think that Jeremy Stephens might have the edge in the boxing aspect, and that's really saying something. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you talking about? I mean, Spencer Fisher, of course, you know he spars with Jens Pulver. He's one of the better guys at 155 as far as striking and his boxing, but I mean, Jeremy Stephens is a fluid striker. He is fluid in the boxing. He's very technical. He's very well-rounded on the ground, has excellent jiu-jitsu skills, has a good wrestling base as well. And I think he's going to take this fight. I think this fight's going to be a fight of the night candidate, and I think Stevens finishes this fight in the 3rd round. I'm going to go with a TKO. I know I'm really putting my neck out there on this one, but I think Jeremy Stevens is the real deal, and I think we're going to get to see that in this fight. So I'm going to go with Jeremy Stevens. If Spencer Fisher wins, I will not be surprised, but I think Jeremy Stevens can pull this out, and I think this is a fight that is a good matchup for him, and I think he can win. Main event, Evan Tanner versus Kendall Grove. Evan Tanner, of course, lost to Yushin Okami via the vicious knee. He's fought David Loazo, Justin Levens, which was his last fight before he got into the alcohol situation. He's fought Rich Franklin, Dave Terrell, and Robbie Lawler, and Phil Baroni twice. Kendall Grove, just coming off of 2 losses, one to Jorge Rivera, one to Patrick Cote. He's beat Chris Price, Ed Herman, so on and so forth. Kendall's really good on the ground, good jiu-jitsu skills. His boxing is it's decent. His stand-up is decent. He's got pretty good leg kicks. I think this fight's going to go back and forth. I think Evan has got good submission defense. He's always done well. He used to train with Quest. He had really good Greco, and I think he still does. I think he still has a really good clinch game. He's got some of the most vicious knees in the clinch that I've ever seen when he throws them. And I think Tanner can withstand Kendall. I think he's got the tools. I think he's got the ground skills. I think he's got the submission defense. And I think he's got underrated boxing skills. I think he can last with Kendall long enough on the feet to get it to the ground and stay out of submissions. This fight's either going to go to a late stoppage, which I'm going to say Tanner by a 3rd round TKO or a decision, but I think Tanner can stop this. So I'm going to go with a 3rd round TKO. 2 fights to just mention real quick. I won't really break them down. Marvin Eastman versus Drew McFedries. Undercard, I think Drew McFedries is going to take this fight 2nd round TKO. He outclasses Eastman in the stand-up. I think he wins that fight. I think Dean Lister will beat Jeremy Horn. That's the other undercard event. That's going to go to a decision. I don't see Dean Lister being able to get Jeremy to the ground. I think the fight will look similar to what we saw with Jordan Radev and Dean Lister. I think Jeremy Horn's going to be really cautious. He's going to try to stay away from Dean Lister and getting on the ground as far as submission attempts. And I think Lister takes it via a decision. And I think at some point he will get Jeremy Horn to the ground. And if he does, Jeremy's got enough submission defense that he should stay out of something, but don't be surprised if Lister submits him. So that is my Tough 7 finale predictions. Let me know what you think. Leave me some comments, constructive, negative, positive. And on that note, you guys, have a great day.